All right, in Module 79, we are going to be talking about how we befriend and fall in love with some people, but not others. The phrase beauty is in the eyes of the beholder comes to mind. How romantic love typically changes as time passes. Why we need to keep that flame kindled. So, why are we attracted to certain people? There are three reasons why we are attracted to certain people. The three factors are proximity, attractiveness, and similarity. All right. So, proximity means the biggest predictor of friendships. Uh, the increased chances of us to marry someone we're close to in proximity. Um, and that's a greater opportunity for us to meet because we are closer to them. We like those that are very similar to us. This leads to what is known as the mere exposure effect. Uh, First impressions when we see somebody, yes, we like to think that the physical attractiveness of an individual really doesn't matter, but it does. It's what draws us to somebody. But that is only a short term. Over time, then there needs to be substance in that relationship in order for it to endure. So, physical attraction is definitely something that is important. Now, whatever that physical attraction is determined by the individual. How does it apply to ourselves? Lisa De Bruin found that humans, like other people, when their faces incorporate some morphed features of their own. That's a little strange, isn't it? Somebody that's a little bit close to us, and we found them to be more trusting, cooperative, etc. So, which of us is the real us? Because the human face is not perfectly symmetrical, the face that we see in the mirror is not the same face that friends see. Most of us prefer a similar face in the mirror image, while friends like the actual reverse. So, one of the things that's kind of a new trend is this idea of online dating. Online dating uh, matches increase from 0% to 95% to 60% the same sex and 20% of in heterosexual. So we see a big growth in this idea. And again, this is more of the mere exposure effect, or the more likelihood we have to meet people when we don't have opportunities to meet. So when we are not really out there, if you will, and engaging in interactions with people, it's hard for us to meet people. So therefore, online dating forces us to integrate with people. So what is considered to be attractive? Well, it really depends on cultural variations. Attractiveness may vary from culture and over time, yet some adult physical features, such as a healthy appearance and a relatively symmetrical face, seem attractive everywhere. But even in the United States, if you go back to looking at the Miss America contest in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, way different of who was considered to be beautiful and attractive then to what is today. Marilyn Monroe, for example, was considered to be unbelievably attractive in her day, but she was what they refer to as voluptuous, not the type of beauty that we see today in advertising of the model who is very thin and so on. So it varies over time. So, how are our feelings influenced by our perceptions of what is considered to be attractive? Romantic love endures. Positive absorption uh, in another phase. So we have that initial phase of where we are attracted to somebody physically, But over time, that absorption that we are totally into that other person will fade over time. The French says, love makes time pass, time makes love pass. All right. So let's talk about a specific type of love. It's known as passionate love. Two factors of emotion: physical arousal and cognitive arousal. Arousal from another source can enhance certain emotion. So, what is passionate love? It is the aroused state that have positive absorption in another, usually present in the beginning of a romantic relationship. So, we need to understand what passion is. Passion is seen in another person that stimulates our blood flow in our brain region linked to craving and obsession. Compassionate love, on the other hand, is a deep affectionate attachment we feel with those that, in our lives. This is what is the key to an enduring relationship. This can only happen when there's equity. Equity in a relationship, think about that for a second, is mutual respect for each other, mutual um, participation, mutual affection from one another. If it is one sided, it can be very tough in that relationship because you get drained a lot of times from the other person always taking and taking and not giving. So compassionate love is what endures, while passionate love is short. So some of the chemicals that are involved during passionate love phase, of passion facilitating hormones and neurotransmitters such as testosterone, dopamine, adrenaline, they flood the body, and this transitions eventually over to compassionate love, where we release oxytocin, and that gives us those feelings of trust and calmness and bonding that only can come from a strong based mutual love for one another. So equity leads to what is called self disclosure. That is very important in a relationship where we then have a deeper relationship where we, um, it is vital into that ingredient of loving relationships where we reveal intimate aspects of ourselves to the other person. And that can only come as we develop that trust that occurs in a relationship. All right. So that's a little bit of an understanding about relationships and so on. So we'll move on to altruism, conflict, and peacemaking.